Question number 1. Wow, what an amazing video. I learned so much. Thank you. No, thank you so much. My only fear to change my cat food is my guys are on prescription food for stone prevention. But I see the first 3 ingredients are corn gluten meal, poultry byproduct meal, and rice. I pay almost $100 for this junk. Please do a video on how to safely replace a prescription food. No, thank you so much for the question, and I hope that helps. Obviously, there are going to be certain intricacies whenever you are trying to change a cat's food. Cats are extremely picky. They can be very, very fussy. Fortunately, my cat is not fussy at all, and he will eat just anything. But with most cats, they tend to be very, very fussy. So you are going to have to do it potentially over weeks or even months. So change your cat's food slowly but surely, I would say, depending on your dog's condition and your dog's spectrum in terms of stone and kidney failure and that sort of thing. You want to go for as much moisture as possible and low purine diets if possible, and highly digestible proteins. There is certainly no correlation. I have seen many papers. I follow a few of the high-end top vets, and they seem to say that there is no correlation between Struvite stones and diet. So the question is, do you just want to feed your cat a better diet, don't you? And my sense is you should. So please do a video on how to safely replace a prescription food. I think we put a lot of emphasis on the prescription thing, and we fail to identify how good or bad potentially a food can be. At the end of the day, you are paying almost $100 for rice, corn gluten meal, and poultry byproduct meal. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it or is it not worth it? In my opinion, it isn't worth it. So find a food which is as close to 100% meat as you can. I would move away from kibble if you have a cat with kidney disease. You are going to potentially pay a bit more because obviously wet food or raw cat food is going to be a bit more expensive, but in my opinion it will be worth it. Make sure again you understand your cat's struvite conditions. How many times have they had it? How many times have they had them? How severe it is? Are they in pain? Is it chronic? Is it acute? Do they dissolve properly? All that sort of stuff is pretty important. So I don't know. I can't give you specific and tailored recommendations because you haven't shared all that much information. But thank you so much for your question. And by the way, this is my favorite thing to do week in and week out with you guys, and I absolutely love all the questions you give me. If you are watching this, please like and please subscribe because it really does help. Hi, I am 15 years old and I'm Spanish. Hola. I love your videos. It's good to know there are people worrying about their pet's nutrition. Very, very true. More and more people are waking up and realizing what's up. And the gig is up, in my opinion. The gig is up, my friends. We are going to spread the message and we are going to change things. We are going to try to change things. A lot more people are waking up, smelling the coffee and realizing that the food we give our pets aren't up to scratch. That the industry has been telling us certain things for so many years and we're just not buying it because we are now a bit more informed. We are informed consumers nowadays. We now know what we are being sold. And as in the previous question, corn gluten meal and rice in cat food is a big no-no. So yeah, no. I feed my dog Royal Canin Derma Comfort because my vet recommended it to me. What a big mistake. I'm trying to find a food that fits my dog's sensitivity, skin issues, otherwise caused atopic dermatitis, pruritus, any dermatitis. If you have a dog with skin issues, with a skin condition, you have to think about it like an inflammation, an irritation of the skin. There's something that you are giving your dog that's irritating its skin. And there's 3 possible reasons why dogs develop skin allergies in our experience. The first one is food. You give your dog a food that your dog doesn't agree with, and you have to tinker and you have to change. The second one is environmental. Just like many people, seasonal allergies, pollen, dust mites, grass, sand, whatever. I don't know. During certain times of the year, these flare up. And the third one is breed specific. If you happen to have something very, very tailored, like a fluffy Frenchie, for example, or something like a blue lab, which is a bit of a misnomer because you wouldn't want to tinker with such a beautiful animal, or you have one of these extreme French bulldogs, those dogs are more prone to allergies and are born inherently with allergies. And those are the 3 main skin allergies, or reasons why dogs have itchy skin. The only food perfect for this sensitivity dog, and he quotes unquote perfect, is Hill's, Royal Canin or Purina. I definitely disagree with that. I prefer feeding my dog a food made with ingredients that I can understand and add some salmon oil to support its skin instead of a food made with bad unspecific ingredients. Thank you very much for your videos. I don't know why everyone doesn't watch them. No, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. So, if you have the first thing you need to do if your dog has any sort of allergy is assess your dog's life. Where the dog goes out for walkies, where you take the dog, what the dog's life is like. Does the dog have any inherent health issues? What does the dog eat? Not just the food, but the treats as well. How does the dog maneuver on a day-to-day basis? And you then are going to simply write down everything the dog eats. And you are going to simply have a look at everything the dog is getting. And from there, you are going to choose, as we always say, one single protein. And I want you to go for a protein that's a bit out there. Something like ostrich or sardine, quail, reindeer, rabbit. Something a bit out there that isn't chicken or beef or your regular meats. Because if your dog is allergic to a particular protein, the dog is less likely to be reactive to ostrich than the dog is going to be reactive to chicken, for example. So that would be the first thing I would do. The second thing would be to, yes, add some omega-3s, anti-inflammatories. A fish-based diet can work. And I would then limit to the max the amount of carbohydrates you feed your dog. And that would be my starting point. There's many more things you can do, but obviously this is not the time for it. But I've made other videos on this, and I've done a couple seminars on it, and I highly encourage you to go back and watch them, because I go over half an hour about the whole possible causes and everything. Thank you so much for the question. And by the way, you can ask any questions you want across Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and I'll just reply, and I love replying to your comments. So thank you so much. It's really cool to have such an engaging family. Royal Canin Gastro Hypoallergenic. I think that the approach that you are taking is for a patient that has a possible food allergy, and for this you can find a range of hypoallergenic diets. And this was a comment on the Royal Canin gastrointestinal. The problem, my friend, with hypoallergenic diets is that they don't mean anything. They do not mean anything at all. And by the way, I'm using a new mic that I've bought, and let me know if it works and if you like it, or I'll just change it. Let me know if I'm good on a sound basis. Hypoallergenic diets don't really make any sense anymore. You have here in the UK, certainly, hypoallergenic diets with sugar, with rice, with corn, with wheat, with barley, with rice, with animal fats, with poultry meals, and with things that are too unspecific. So a manufacturer can say, give your dog this hypoallergenic diet, and for this hypoallergenic diet to be, in my opinion, complete trash. So hypoallergenic doesn't mean anything. And it's important that you realize that these marketing labels do not mean anything. How the food is made and what ingredients go into the blender, the raw materials, are the most important things. And you can do this with your shopping. How you make your food and the processing of the food and the quality of the ingredients, that's what matters. Everything else is noise. Everything else is noise. Whether I tell you that a McDonald's burger is hypoallergenic, okay, it might be hypoallergenic, but I think it's still not very good. Even though I do like a McDonald's, I do love a Mackie D's. I don't have them very often though, because they give me a bit of an icky tummy. So yeah, like my dog sometimes. This DCM lawsuit, and this is from the Hills DCM lawsuit. As someone who read the entire 124-page lawsuit, I can tell you that there will be little difficulty in proving intent. David Schulhoff did a fantastic job leveraging emails he got from the Freedom of Information Act. Thank you so much for the question. So, in the video I made about the DCM scandal or article or lawsuit or whatever you want to call it, I said that it would be very, very hard to prove intent because, as with all things big corporations, they are quite smart the way they go on about things, and they tend to have very clued up people and they know what they are doing. So you say you have read the entire lawsuit and you say that there'll be little difficulty in proving intent. If that is the case, it could be a pivotal sort of change, of movement, of moment for the industry, because Hills were corralling people in a way, in a sense. People have been missold something about grain-free foods affecting your dog's heart and your dog's body, and that's not good. That's not good at all. It's not ethical, and it beggars belief, basically. So if you say they are going to have very little difficulty in proving intent, we'll see. We will see. On the video of Karen Becker I did, this viewer says, I like Dr. Karen Becker. I think she has a lot of good tips. My dogs and cats are doing very well on homemade food. I have her book. It's very informative. Way back, my mom had a dog. She never bought dog food. He ate what we ate. That dog lived to be 15 years. Yeah, so Dr. Karen Becker is one of these bigger than life vets on the internet. Well, she has practices and she's very, very accomplished. And she was one of the first ones to be an advocate for raw dog food, taking a holistic approach to your dog's health. And whenever we talk about holistic, it sometimes sounds a bit woo-woo and a bit, happy trippy. But it's finding natural, or trying to find natural remedies to problems instead of going through medicine. So a holistic approach to, allergies would be to change your dog's diet and add in omega-3s, in short, for example. But that's not very happy trippy. That's something you would do regardless, because you love your dog and you don't want your dogs to be your meds straight away. You don't want your dogs to be on Apoquel or on steroids straight away. You want to assess things in a different way, and I do applaud that. I like Karen Becker. I think she has done a lot for the industry. I think she has done a lot to influence how we should try to feed our dogs or cats, and I think you should listen to her. Well, you should listen to everyone. You should listen to Dr. Karen Becker, and you should listen to Purina. You should listen to me, and you should listen to someone who tells you to feed rice to your cat. I don't know, listen to everyone. That's what I do. I listen to everyone, and then I come to my own conclusions. That's what I do. My dogs and cats are doing very well on homemade food. So homemade food, okay, lots of people do homemade food, and lots of people do it very, very poorly. Lots of people who do homemade food will have their dogs and cats lacking on vitamin D, for example, lacking on certain things, because they might not be feeding enough liver or heart or the tidbits the dogs need. They might be calcium deficient. They don't do it properly. So I hope you're doing it properly, following the 80-10-10. Try to follow the whole prey ratios, and not trying to just give your dogs or cats whatever you think homemade food is. So if you are going to do homemade food, try to do it properly. Please try to do it properly, because we see it every day, and people come to our branches and they say, "Oh, I homemade food for my dog," and the diet is all over the place, and we have to tell them very politely to stop doing what they are doing, because it's not good for the dog or the cat. The next question is way back. My mom had a dog. She never bought dog food. He ate what we ate. That dog lived to be 15 years. Yeah, sure. Yeah, my nana lived until she was 102, and her diet was complete crap. It was really, really bad. It was horrible. She had a horrible diet. She never exercised. She ate what she wanted. Information was limited. And so the fact that dogs back then lived to a certain age on whatever we gave them doesn't mean anything. It just means that dogs are very, very resilient, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that the food back then was better, or that... I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say, but I don't buy that argument. But thank you so much for the question. It's Crufts week. Crufts is starting this week, late this week. So we have a couple of comments on Crufts. Let me know if you have shown dogs in Crufts. Let me know what you want to see in Crufts. Let me know what your favorite activity or competition is at Crufts. There's always something going on every year, and it's pretty cool. So we have two comments. The first one is, I show dogs in confirmation, been to Crufts before, wonderful show. It's a wonderful show. It is a wonderful show. Everyone that goes there loves pets, loves their dogs, loves their cats, loves everything. And that's wonderful to see. So the fact that you showed dogs in confirmation, it's really cool. And then someone else said, I personally don't agree with all the breed standards or breeding for looks or dogs for show. But having been to Crufts a few years ago, it was very obvious that everyone was absolutely dog lovers. Absolutely love the dog sports. And that's again what I was trying to say, that everyone that goes there really does love their dogs. Now, let me go on a bit of a tangent. Let me let me explain to you how things work, because I am in the industry as well. I am part of the selling of products to you guys, to the consumer here in the UK. So you have the biggest companies in the pet food industry sponsoring Crufts categories, big banners. You'll see big banners of these companies everywhere, and you will see that they love dogs. The big campaigns towards safety for dogs, breed standards for dogs, breeding, rehoming, shelters, all good things. They do very, very nice and good things. They do very, very good things, and they are able to sponsor such big events, and arguably the biggest dog event in the whole wide world, because of the very fact that they put 50, 60, 70% corn gluten meal and rice and wheat and barley in our dog's food. And that's very cheap to manufacture. These companies are gushing money. They have so much money that the only thing they can do sometimes is put it back into advertising to make themselves bigger. If those foods were better, they wouldn't have as much money, because it would cost more to produce the food. If you think about it, it takes a lot more to get a Wagyu burger than a regular McDonald's burger. And there's a reason for that. That's why McDonald's sponsors the Olympics, and Wagyu doesn't sponsor my Sunday league, my local Sunday league, because they don't have the means, they don't have the money. They don't have the money because they're not as much scale, and because of the quality is not as big. The quality is not as good, rather. So you are going to see a lot of manufacturers that sponsor Crufts with the big banners, with the big huts, with the big stalls, and giving publicity, giving promotions, running this, running that, the breeder program, this, that, the other, when the ingredients are horrible, the brands are horrible, the brands aren't good for our dogs. If we have just said that they put rice and wheat gluten meal in cat food, how then they going to sponsor something and tell us they are a wonderful company? You can't tell me you're a wonderful company. You can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I love McDonald's. I wouldn't have McDonald's every day. I'd be the size of a house. You can't. You just can't do it. I'm really, really sorry. And it's not a pet peeve, because I understand business and how business works, but it's incumbent upon you and me to realize what's going on and to not buy those brands, and to just enjoy the show for what it is, and to ignore all the big corporations that will be there. So yeah, that's Crufts. Welcome to Crufts, everyone. Let me know if you agree, you disagree, or you think I'm a lunatic, which could be very, very potentially true. We loved. This is a question on Akana. I personally don't agree with all. No, we loved Akana until they changed the recipe. Got bought by Mars. Correct. My dog was too gassy and kept itching. I don't buy that. I do not buy that. If a bag of food changes suddenly, your dog all of a sudden is not going to get gassy and start itching. The food that particular brand didn't change all that much. The ingredients got diluted down. It is true that nowadays the recipe is not as good as it used to be, but I do not think your dog got too gassy and kept itching I don't buy it, because you say that it got bought by Mars. I think you have something against Mars. I do too, and I'm not defending them, but I don't think you are being completely honest. And but I could be wrong. Thank you for the question. Do you recommend Arden Grange for Huskies, and which one? I do not recommend Arden Grange, actually. Arden Grange is a UK dog food. They put quite a lot of rice in the food. If not rice, they put a lot of white potato in the food. The salmon and white potato, I believe. Not a food I like. Not a food I recommend. Not a food I would feed any of my dogs or cats. I don't like it. I absolutely don't like it. Thank you for the question. Next question. Nearly £100 for a bag of dog food is insane. If you have a toy breed dog that you want to pamper, it is going to last forever, then maybe. But for people with bigger dogs or multiple dogs, these ultra high-end products are completely unsustainable. Unless you are a multi-millionaire, nobody eats in fancy restaurants every night or gets their groceries delivered by whatever, weekly. And with everything in life, a compromise has to be made. Last time I looked, the northeast of England, for those watching outside England, isn't the most affluent part of the country, so the market for these products must be tiny. I completely disagree, my friend. I completely disagree. So if you are in the States, this is for you. This reply is also for you. So if you buy a bag which costs $100, what you want to get is value for money. That's what you want to get. You aren't so much concerned about paying that much money if you have decided you want to go for a high quality product. And if I'm not saying that you should spend $100 or £100 in a bag of food. You can spend £20 on a bag of food. You can spend £7 on a bag of food. Whatever, you know. What we think is that people nowadays have come to the conclusion that their pets are family members. And they are. My dog is not my dog. He's a family member. He's a full family member. He comes with us. He sleeps with us. He eats with us. He does everything with us. He does absolutely everything. He's not just a dog. Back in the day, dogs were left outdoors, outside, slept rough. They weren't allowed on the sofa. They were not allowed here. They were not allowed there. They were just dogs. Nowadays, dogs are not dogs. And so if you are feeding yourself pretty well, you want to be feeding your dog pretty well too. And we see this pretty much every day in our branches. People will come in and they're not multimillionaires. They are hardworking people, and they have decided that they want to prioritize their dog's diet and their dog or their cat. And once they get on board, as it were, with the program, when you show people the difference, and when they see the difference in their dog's body and condition and coat and teeth and overall health, they love you and they love us. And there's a reason why they love us. People love us because we change their dog or their cat's life. And it's not just a dog or a cat. It's a full family member. It's their family member. It's not quite their son or their daughter, but it's not far off. So by us prioritizing our dog or cat, you maybe don't go out as much. You maybe don't order that second or third glass of wine in a restaurant because you prioritize your dog or your cat's food or your cat's diet. And that's commendable. And I think that's wonderful. Because I do the same for my dog and my cat. You know, I might not eat the best, or I might not go out every week or whatever, but I want my dog to have as good a diet as I can, and my cat. I want them to be healthy. I want them to last forever, for as long as I can, and that's just the way it is. Do you have to spend £100 or do you have to spend $100? You don't have to spend $100, but if you are currently spending 30 and you watch one of my videos, maybe you want to spend 40 or 50 because you want to step up the quality of your dog's nutrition. Maybe you look at what you are feeding the dog and you see meat and animal derivatives and you see cereals, and then you go, these bloke might be onto something. I'm going to try to change my dog's food and I'm going to buy something a bit better. And you then don't have to spend £100, but you were spending 20 and now you're spending 30 or 40. And that's arguably 50% or 100% more of what you were spending before. And that's how I want you to think. Okay, you might only have an allocation for your dog's diet or like a little budget for food, and I understand that because I have it too. So you might pick a food and then you might up the quality of the treats. Then you might start giving your dog something a bit extra. Maybe a can or maybe a tray of raw dog food. Maybe once a week or twice a week, you buy your dog a tube of raw food, for example, £2-3, $2-3, $4, $5, whatever the cost might be. That will improve the quality of your dog's life. And I think that's wonderful. So instead of looking at the top quality and the top brands, I want you to see how you can tinker for the better your dog's diet. And I think you can do it. And I think that once you see the difference, once you start feeding your dog or cat better, you are going to see the difference between a healthy dog and a not so healthy dog. And I knew it. As soon as I started feeding my dog appropriately, everything changed. Everything has changed. I cannot go back. I cannot go back and feed my dog anything with cereals or meat and animal derivatives because I know they're not good for him. So I don't. And I try to tell you to not do the same because I think your dog is going to live a better life. And consequently, you are going to live a better life because you are going to have your dog for a bit longer than you would have otherwise, or your cat. So I hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense. I love getting all these questions. It's my favorite time of the week. I really hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next one. Please like and please subscribe.